Let's do this. Slathborn. Man, the names here are so epic. The Magitech armor. Sid and the others took it inside. Go on in and check on them. Enjoy them. We've now had time to take a closer look at the Reaper. Our preliminary diagnosis was correct. She's structurally sound, but her servo mechanism is faulty. You needn't worry, though. Biggs and Wedge will see her restored to her former glory in no time at all. Give those two something to mend, and they will think of naught else till the job's done. It's a marvelous thing to behold, provided you remind them to visit the privy. I would hope they don't forget. Here we go, level 48. Ooh. The repairs are proceeding apace. It shouldn't be long now before Biggs and Wedge complete their work. There is, however, one small problem. As you may recall, the Machina's servo mechanism was discovered to be faulty. Wedge has subsequently ascertained that the Magitech core which drives it is worn beyond use. Such cores are rather fragile devices that must be replaced at regular intervals. Thanks to the negligence of our Imperial colleagues, however, this one used in this Reaper was long overdue. Alas, we do not have access to the ready replacement here in Mordona. But all is not lost. Wedge thinks he may have identified an alternative solution. Go and see him, would you? He'll explain the details to you. As I believe the Chief has already informed you, the Magitech core is worn beyond use. We need to find a replacement. I thought about having you appropriate some more Reapers, but even if the Dunderhead maintenance engineers of Castrum Sentry had remembered to replace the cores, we would risk arousing Imperial suspicion. But do not despair, for I believe there is a solution. To substitute the Magitech core with a Mammoth Heart. In case you don't know, a Mammoth Heart can be used to grant sentience to an automaton. By my reckoning, such a device should be more than capable of regulating the armor's servo mechanism. We'll just need to make some minor modifications to the housing unit. I've already placed an order at the first-rate Mammoth Heart with the Goldsmiths Guild. All that remains is someone to go to Old Dawn and collect it. Oh, and to pay for it. Did I mention how much they cost? No? Well, they typically cost something in the order of, I hope you don't mind footing the bill. It's for a good cause. Well, that's funny, because that's where I go all the time already for the monk stuff. So it kind of works out. I shared a picture of my cats yesterday in the Discord. They were, Nova was holding Seymour's head like they were holding each other. She was licking him, and it was like the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. Is this going to be a money quest? Oh, I could have teleported. I don't think I've had a lot of freezes on Twitch. I was having an issue watching YouTube yesterday. Video kept freezing. Good old serendipity. Hello there, come to collect a Mammoth Heart, you say? Then you must be here on behalf of Gorland Ironworks. I've taken the liberty of picking the finest example we have, a heart fit for a prince among mammoths. Payment? Oh, that won't be necessary. The heart is for Master Alphanod's personal use, after all. He notified us a short while ago that his servant would be coming to collect it. Tender in years though he may be, Master Alphanod has been a benefactor of ours since my predecessor's time. The Goldsmiths Guild wouldn't dream of charging him. Tender in years though he may be. Does that mean... wait. If you're tender in years, does that mean you're old or young? I feel like... I guess that would probably mean young, huh? But here's the Mammoth Heart. May it serve you well. Oh, and please do pass on my compliments to your master. Yeah, that makes sense. At first I thought they meant old, and I was like, wait, Alphanod looks like he's 5. I guess I might as well do this. I'm right here. The simpleton monk asks that I send you his way should I see you. He waits for you a little Alamigo in southern Thanalan. Surely you see Wildergelt for the danger he is. He is the most dangerous type of mind, one blinded by revolution and revenge. I do wish you'd tell him yourself that people should live for the future rather than the past. You that I did not know he was of the Alamigan resistance? How saddening it is that on the rare occasions you do trouble yourself to think you are wrong. Of course I know. What manner of imbecile do you take me for? No doubt Wildergelt thinks me the idiot. False. These two eyes see far more than you know. I too am an Alamigan, and love my homeland every bit as much as he. Go now, hurry to little Alamigo. I will keep you no longer. No doubt Wildergelt is already awaiting your arrival. On the off chance that you do actually think, the one time that you do actually think, you're still wrong. You spoke to Eric. Do not lie to me, sister. You told him who I am, what I seek to do. I am not angered. He tried to sway me from my path. He believes resistance will only leave more dead. I expected as much from him. I feigned understanding. He asked much of me, of the monkhood and the fist. He asked of the seventh chakra. My answers excited him. He said they would advance his studies. I too learned from him. I am nearer the seventh chakra now. Soon the resistance will rise. You too will see, very soon. Others do not understand. Alamigo tried to protect them. We were the shield of the realm. We bled to fend off Garlemald. None here know our suffering. None here can imagine it. The lives we led after the fall, after the shield was sundered. I have traveled far and wide. I have met many souls, but none are as you. You have a gift. Yours is a great strength. Unite it to ours, sister. Help us reclaim our home. Your efforts will be rewarded. Look upon my garments. This is the war garb of the monkhood. It attunes to the wearer's chakra, enables it to realize its fullest expression. The cloth is imbued with the power of Rauger. Only monks of his fist may don it. Only those who overcome many trials. I will tell you how it can be yours. Fear not, I require you to speak no vows. I ask only that you fight with us. Give yourself to our cause. You long for adventure. Yo, Marky Mark! With the 3 years? A full 3 years, my man? Thank you so much. You long for adventure, I understand, but such longings can wait. This cannot. See Alamigo freed, then enjoy your own freedoms. What say you, sister? You have the heart of a true monk. You are different from the others in this realm. Hear this. A set of our war garb was stolen. The fist has tracked the bandits. We know now where 3 of the relics are. Here in southern Thanalan, the Sepulchre and the Circle of the Tempered. In northern Thanalan, the abandoned Amalgina mithril mine. Your soul crystal will react to the relics. Draw near them and they will glow. By this power you can find them. The fist's honor has been trampled upon. Make the heretics you find pay for their sins. Eric has sold his soul to this land, but he is a knowledgeable man. He knows more than I of the monkhood, and of the fist. Speak with him if you would know more of our way. The man revels in hearing himself speak. I await the day we fight side by side, sister. Go now and go well. So can I go to any of those places, I guess? Yeah. Let's go to this one first, I guess. I wonder what happens if you say no there. Does it, like, just wait till you say yes, or does something different happen? Remember when these guys kicked my butt? That's my guess. Just waits for you to say yes. I don't remember how to get in here. think it's over here. Yeah. Like how they just don't fight me because I'm so much stronger. Forget how to get off my chocobo. What if I just... Yeah. This seems a bit fetch questy. The enemies aren't even a threat. Okay, where's the other one? I know there's one down there. I don't know where the third one is. I was going to hope. I don't know anything about Blue Mage. Someone might be able to answer though. I was wondering if I can't connect this account to my PlayStation account and I have to like start over. I was curious how running a white mage would be as a solo player. Like just going through the story. I feel like that'd be kind of weird. Like the dungeons would be cool. You could just watch your AI team fight while you heal them. But like, how would you do everything else? I guess is there really like a dedicated white mage, or is it more of you're just a conjurer that heals and does magic? Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. My guess is like... Oh god, we have actual enemies here. My guess is like, if you're doing raids and stuff, you kind of build specifically for being a healer, but otherwise, like, you can actually deal damage. Thank you so much, bro, for the 73 months. Wait, why did that change into a... Oh, I guess I'll take it here. It'll go back. No, it's like... It's a blue thing now instead of a ring. Oh, that's why. Yeah, that makes sense. Like I said, you're probably just more of a magic caster in general, but then you can build specifically for healer if that's what you need for like a raid. Well, I don't really know how you build for specific things because I'm a monk and the monk only does one thing, so... I mean, I don't know if it's just like changing equipment or changing your ability order or what, but... I don't have much context for like making builds yet in this game because there are no builds for monk. I just equip the thing that does the most damage. I just equip the thing with the biggest numbers. There is no build. At least not yet. Which is a bit of a shame. That is one of my gripes. I know it's an MMO, so it's kind of par for the course, but I do still wish that equipment had some kind of numbers on it that made me actually think about what I'm equipping. And to be fair, they do have numbers, like they do have you know, like this one has strength, vitality, determination, dexterity, critical hit. This one has dexterity, determination, strength, vitality, skill speed. These numbers are so like irrelevant and so small. And there's like, they all have 5, they're just slightly different. Like, it's just not enough to really, like, I don't think there's been a scenario yet where I'm like, well, this one has this, and this one has this, and so I'll equip this one. It's almost always just equip the one that's stronger. It's definitely not on the level of like a normal loot style game where you're constantly deciding between different equipments and having different equipments for different builds. I would imagine that probably comes later, if at all, but that is one gripe I have, is like that should be there from the beginning. Within the first like hour of gameplay, I should be able to come up with some like choices that will alter my performance based on what I equip, in my opinion. To be fair though, a lot of Final Fantasies don't have a lot of that. Like if you think about Final Fantasy in general, like you tend to just equip the same stuff throughout a playthrough. Man, that guy is... he hurts. Right. But just because it matters more in the end game doesn't make it a good thing. I want to see some build variety throughout the game. Even if it's very minor. I'm not talking meta builds, I'm just talking like, you know, like you're playing Final Fantasy VII and you pick up a sword for Cloud that has a lot of magic damage, so now you have to decide, do I want Cloud to do physical damage or magic damage? Which one should I equip? You pick up a piece of armor that has a lot of magic defense and you think, okay, do I want the equipment that has a lot of magic defense or do I want the equipment that has a lot of regular defense? You know, stuff like that. You pick up, I mean, with 7, it's mostly materia, not equipment, but you pick up a piece of equipment in 9, and you think to yourself, do I want this ability or that ability? You pick up a piece of equipment in, I don't know, any RPG. Maybe you have like a piece of equipment that's quicker, but less armor, gives you more speed but less armor, stuff like that. That stuff doesn't really exist in this game because everything is just the same magic defense and defense. Like, look at all my equipment. Magic defense and defense are the same on almost every piece of equipment. Very rarely you'll get one with more magic defense than regular defense, but it's always just the same numbers. Game like looter shooters like Borderlands and stuff, you're always getting equipment that affects certain abilities, and so now you have to decide, like, do I want to equip this because it increases this ability that I use a lot, or, you know. Diablo, you get pieces of equipment that give you +1 to certain abilities, or certain traits, or whatever, you know. Just a lot of the typical RPG stuff is lost in the sauce because the equipment is very similar. So you're just kind of going through the motions until you get to endgame, and then it picks up. But I don't like that. I wish there was a bit more variety throughout, so I got to make some choices throughout the game. And that would prepare me more for endgame also. Is it as bad as 16? Definitely not. But it's also not as good as really any other Final Fantasy game I can think of. Somewhere in the middle of other Final Fantasy games in 16. But see, it's more... it gets more of an excuse than 16. 16 is a single-player game whose entire purpose is to be an RPG for single player. This is an MMO. It makes more sense that the equipment isn't super varied. I wish it was more varied, but I'm not saying, oh, it's a bad game because it doesn't have varied equipment. Like, that's something I would like to see, but not something that I blame the game for not having. Final Fantasy XVI, there's no excuse. There's literally no excuse. It's a single-player RPG experience. One of the main things you want to be doing is picking equipment. That's like a main gameplay mechanic. Like, the fact that 16 is literally just the status higher, so I put it on for the entire game, even the post-game. Even the post-game, there's nothing. Even the post-game, you just equip the thing with the higher numbers. There's never a single piece of equipment that affects anything other than just the numbers are slightly higher. Yeah, Final Fantasy 1 through 6, well, I think that, like, 5 and 6 specifically kind of did that through other means, not the equipment. But yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy 1 is just pick up the next equipment, but that's Final Fantasy 1. It's an NES game that was made in 1458. Like, it's made decades ago. It kind of makes a lot more sense. And also, like, honestly, the equipment system in 16 is worse than the equipment system in 1. Because at least in 1, you, like, go to certain dungeons and get certain equipment. Like, if you go down a certain path in a dungeon, you'll get an equipment that's better. 16, you are completely hard locked. Like, the game just gives you the equipment you need for each area. It's honestly, like, it's embarrassing. The equipment system in 16 is truly embarrassing. Like, it basically just it's like a rail shooter. Oh, it just keeps you on a rail of, like, okay, you're at this part of the game, so here's this equipment that gives you the numbers that makes that part of the game work, and then, oh, we're at this part of the game now, so here's this equipment that has this exact numbers that we need to make this fight work. Like, there is zero player choice. It's insane. At least with Final Fantasy 1, you can be like, oh, if you're willing to search the ice cave, because the ice cave is a really annoying dungeon and most people just run through it, but if you're willing to search it, then you'll get this really good equipment that will help you in the next dungeon. Like, there is some player choice there. Even though in the end you're just equipping the thing with the higher numbers. Getting the thing with the higher numbers is different. And also, when you go to a shop, you have to decide, do I want to buy Phoenix Downs or do I want to buy a better hat for my mage? Like, there's decision there. There's give and take. You're you know, especially with Gil, because like items are super expensive in one. So do I buy more items or do I buy better equipment? Like, there's player choice there. 16, it's just like, here you go. Here's the next thing you need for this part. You have zero choice in the matter. You beat the boss that you literally have to beat to progress the story, and it gives you the weapon for the next part of the game. And halfway through the game, they're like, here's this weapon that's good for the next 3 chapters. And it just auto gives it to you. Like, it's honestly depressing. I truly hope I never play another game like 16 in terms of its equipment. It's the worst equipment system I've ever seen in an RPG. And it's a shame because I love 16 a lot, but it's such a huge detriment to the game, honestly. It sucks. And it doesn't help that a lot of other RPG mechanics in the game are lost. So it just kind of compounds. It compounds on the fact that the game also doesn't have ailments or elements or a lot of things that RPGs have. But yeah, like I said, this game has more of an excuse. It's an MMO, there's more things going on, there's a lot of character diversity. Like, instead of having equipment that raises certain stats and gives you certain buffs and certain resistances and stuff, you just have entire character classes. You can change yourself from a monk to a white mage or a black mage or a dancer or whatever, you know? So, like, it's not like there's no player choice or anything. It's just that if I had it my way, if I could improve the game in any way, I would love to see some equipment that just gives you a little bit of player choice throughout the story instead of only having that for post-game. You know, giving me some kind of equipment that has fire resistance. So when I go, when the story is like, you're about to go fight Ifrit, we're going to the dungeon where you have to fight Ifrit, I can be like, oh, I should equip my fire resistance. Which is kind of cool, because a lot of games, it's not super apparent what you're going to be fighting until you're already fighting it, and by that time it's too late. But in this game, they always hype up the next boss. They're always like, you're about to fight Garuda. We're going to fight Garuda. We're going to Garuda's lair. We're about to fight Garuda. So if you had equipment that was good against, like, wind damage, you would know to equip it, you know? That's a lot more rare in the other Final Fantasy games. Sometimes you'll go to the ice cave, and you'll be like, okay, obviously it's going to be ice. Or you go to, like, a volcano, and you're like, okay, it's obviously going to be fire. But a lot of times, you're just on a quest, and then suddenly you're fighting an enemy that does electric damage, and you're like, well, I had no idea, so I had no ability to, like, equip. You know what I mean? Like, when you fight Schizo for the first time in 7, you have no idea that he's going to be doing fire, ice, earth damage, you know, like, you're just going through the dungeon, and then you're like, oh, I need to equip this stuff. If you die to the boss, then you could be like, okay, I'll equip this stuff. But in this game, they had a really cool, like, they had a scenario where you kind of always know what you're getting yourself into because of how they hype up each section of the game. So it would have been cool to have some equipment and been like, oh, I can equip this to help out with Garuda, and then you would feel like a smart RPG player. You have returned. The first 3 relics are yours, and now the Fist has located the 4th. There's a Kikern merchant who deals in contraband. The 4th relic is among his wares. Hurry to Lower La Nasia. Find this Kikern. Take back that which is now yours by right. And, you know, that would help prepare you for post-game. Because instead of just, like, let's say that Garuda was a lot harder, but there was a very specific piece of equipment you could get to defend against wind damage that would help, right? So now you're teaching the player about endgame. Instead of just being like, well, Garuda's easy because we want you to get to endgame. So let's just make Garuda really easy no matter what you have equipped. and now you're just going to blast through the story, and then you're going to get to endgame and have no idea what you're doing. Instead, we could have a scenario where, like, Garuda's actually really hard, but if you equip this equipment that you're given right before the boss fight that defends against wind damage, now Garuda's actually pretty easy. So it's still easy to get through the game and get to post-game, but you're learning some of the mechanics you're going to need for endgame. Like, oh, I need to equip this equipment because it's good against this boss. You know what I mean? So, like, we could still make it easy. If their idea was we want the whole game, we want all of Realm Reborn to be easy so that people can just get through it fast and get to the post-game, we can still make it easy, but we can teach some of the mechanics required for endgame through making it easier. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like that would be a better use of our time instead of just, well, she's easy because we want you to get to endgame, so she's just going to do, like, no damage. Garuda's not the best example because Garuda actually was, like, kind of hard, like, at least somewhat of a challenge, but you know what I mean? Like, there's ways to do it better to where everything's not just super free. You could kind of teach some of these mechanics and also make it easy. This seems like such a shit. Like, every time I bring something up like this, chat is always like, that used to be the case and they took it out. Like, why did they take so much out of this game? Did it just not vibe with post-game and people were mad? And what is going on? Why am I in a fate? What is happening? Is it this guy that's power walking? The prodigal son. Yeah, he's power walking. I'm not doing no... Not doing that. I just don't think it's a good idea to make it even more brain dead. Like, if you have a semi-brain dead MMO, like, okay, I get it. That's kind of the way MMOs go at the start. They're kind of brain dead. But the fact that they continue to make it more brain dead, the more they add, just doesn't seem like a good game. Like, doesn't seem like a good idea to me. I mean, this game is uber mega popular and it only gets more and more popular every year. More people are picking it up and playing it. How many people picked it up and they were like, why do people like this? Because the beginning is so brain dead, or at least more brain dead than it used to be. You know, I feel like the scenario of people that played this game when it was new, playing it, thinking it's amazing, and then telling their friends, you gotta play this, and then they play it in a worse state, and they're like, I don't understand why my friends like this. I feel like that's gotta be kind of common. Like, I feel like that probably happens. Maybe not as much as I think it does, but I feel like that's gotta happen. You know, you got your friend that's like, oh man, like, this is so much fun, and then you play it and you're like, they changed everything and now it's pretty brain dead for the first 40 hours. It's like, why does my friend like this? Like, that's not gonna... I don't feel like that's gonna promote more people getting to post-game. I feel like that's gonna promote more people picking it up and quitting. And once you quit something like this, I feel like it's kind of rare you come back to it, to be honest. If you quit early... I don't know. Yeah, it's just weird, like... And I wonder if it's Square... Is it Square Enix trying to just get people through early game? Or is it the community constantly complaining about post-game and Square trying to make it right? Because I've seen that happen. That happened with Destiny. There was a very specific time I remember when I used to play Destiny. They had this currency called Motes of Light, and I was working my way through the main game and collecting all of these motes of light, and there was this like post-game store that you could buy these really cool weapons with motes of light or something like that. It was a long time ago, so sorry if I'm like botching it. But there was something really cool you could buy with these motes of light, right? So I'm working through the game, and I get to the end of the game, and I finally have enough motes of light to actually buy something, because they're more of like a post-game currency, right? Well, all the people that played the game for 5,000 hours the moment it came out, and have been in post-game for weeks, were complaining to Bungie that the motes of light don't do anything, or the motes of light are bad for the balance or whatever. And right when I got to post-game, they changed motes of light to only be cosmetic stuff. So now I could only buy cosmetic stuff, like avatars and crap, with my motes of light that I had been collecting throughout my entire playthrough, because the post-game people were complaining that it wasn't good for the meta or whatever. And like, I don't blame them for changing it, because the post-game people are the people that are putting the money into the game and the people that care the most about the game. And I've always said you should balance your game for the people that really care about it, and then everyone else will just have to either become someone that cares about it or quit. But like, it sucks when that happens. Like, it sucks when only the people that care about the meta get supported, and then everyone else is left with just a worse game. So I don't know. It's a hard balance, but like, from a distance, it makes sense to support the people that are playing your game the most. But sometimes it just makes for a worse game for everyone else, you know? There's a balance. You can't only make the game good for people that are playing for 10,000 hours and make it suck for everyone else. Like, you gotta have some kind of balance. Yeah, then there's the people that, well, that's a different scenario entirely, but yeah. No, that's a problem in today's world too, especially with games like this. People complain the game has no content when they played it for every waking second of the day. But yeah, no, I mean, I agree somewhat. You know, I've said this before about like speedrunning. When a game, like old games and stuff, this doesn't really apply, but newer games, when the speedrun community is super vocal about a change in a game, some people would say, like, screw the speedrun community. That's such a small niche. You know, don't change the game for speedrunners. That's such a small niche. You're going to ruin the game for everyone else just for, like, some speedrunners. That's silly. But to me, the speedrunners are the most dedicated community. And not only are they the most dedicated, but a lot of people are watching them play the game. So it makes sense to pander to them at least a little bit if it's something that doesn't affect the rest of everyone else. Sure, don't screw the game up just for speedrunners, but if there's something you can change to make speedrunners happy that doesn't screw up everyone else, I think it's a worthwhile change to do. Speedrunners are people that are playing your game for thousands of hours, and there's thousands of people on Twitch and YouTube watching them play your game for thousands of hours. Like, it makes sense to pander to them somewhat, right? And the same goes for like MMOs and having, you know, pandering to people that play the game for 10,000 hours and they're doing raids to thousands of people on Twitch. Like, it makes sense to pander to them somewhat, right? But you also can't ruin the game. And a lot of the things that I'm hearing are like, we just took stuff out of the game for the sake of post-game, but it specifically hurts the early game. You know, like I was saying before, we had that whole long discussion about how there used to be passive buffs you would get for leveling up your classes, and they took that out because the post-game people were complaining that it screwed up rating. Which makes sense, but that's a huge thing to take out that like very much detriments the quality of the game for new players. And I think that's a bad thing. I think that, you know, pandering to the post-game crowd is a good thing, but taking out an entire mechanic that all the early game players are going to enjoy is worse for the game overall. Like, it means less players, it means less people enjoying the game, it means less people making it all the way to the post-game in the first place. You know, like, I think that's just generally bad for the game. Now, if it was, like, so bad that it was completely ruining post-game, then sure, take it out. But, you know, I think the argument's valid that, like, you can't just pander to the post-game crowd no matter what. Like, let's just make the game total dog water for everyone just so that the post-game people are happy. Like, I think everyone can agree that's a bad idea. Because those people are going to have their fun and quit, and then there's going to be no new people playing the game. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just a shame. It seems like every time I come up with an idea, it's like, oh, that used to be a thing, and then they took it out. It's like, maybe if we're going to take out that much stuff, maybe add some stuff. Maybe tweak it. Maybe don't take it out completely. Maybe just tweak it a bit so it works for everyone. Seems like Square Enix's plan is just like, oh, people don't like this, just yank it out. But it's like, I don't know if that's the best choice. I'd have to see, though. I'd have to be part of that post-game crew and see truly how bad these things were, how much it was ruining the game to really have a good perspective of it. But it's just interesting. I don't know. Interesting to think about. Want to go in? It hardly needs saying, but try not to be seen. Yeah, then you have the whole, like, it's, man, balancing mobile games. Good luck, dude. That's all I could say about that. But good luck. Good luck balancing mobile games when you have people that are like, you have people that play it an hour a day or 20, you know, pick up their phone and play it for 10 minutes and put it back down and don't touch it again for another 2 days. And then you have people playing it literally every second of every day that they can be on their phone, they're playing this game. And then you have people that only play 30 minutes a day, but they're whales and they buy everything. And then you have people that play 24 hours a day and they're whales. So it's like, how do you balance this? At least with video games, it's like, you have people that play it an hour a day and you have people that play it 10 hours a day, but in the end, they all kind of add up to the same hours. But with mobile games, given that it's always like a season thing and things are always changing, and the more you play it, the more you get in general with like mobile games. There's no real skill gap kind of thing. Like, good luck balancing that. I don't know how you do that. Good luck, yo. So you have the Mammoth Heart? I can't wait to see if it works. They do their best, I guess. Hurrah! Thank you so much. How's it going, Snipes? But this is magnificent. It must have cost an emperor's ransom. Free of charge, courtesy of Alphanod. Coming from an influential family certainly has its advantages. But without further ado, let's give it a try. I've already modified the housing unit, so it should slot right in. There, she's ready. Magitech armor, engage. Or not. She just needs a loving tap, I'll wager. Yes, she's alive. Let's take her outside and put her through her paces. Petra, would you care to do the honors? Hop into the pilot seat. We'll begin as soon as you're ready. First, I'd like you to try climbing that tangle of crystals yonder, as far up as you can go, if you please. Oh, and if for some reason you need to dismount, simply come back here and we'll start again. Holy moly, look at me! Petra's moving up in the world. Epic song. Well, it says I can dismount. When you get this as an actual mount, it plays Terra's theme. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. No anomalous movements evident from either leg. Good. Next, jump back down and then sprint north quick as you can. I don't think I can sprint. Leg joints absorbing all impact without incident. Excellent. Please make your way back, Petra. Okay, this is cool and all, but like, did we really need the walk here, walk there, come back? We're like almost at the end of the game. Zoom out? How about zoom in? Now I'm playing Doom, Final Fantasy XIV. The torso remains stable during vigorous motion. Excellent, and that concludes our test. Thank you for your cooperation. Here's a summary of my findings. The drivetrain is in sound condition. With some fine-tuning, we can expect a noticeable improvement in performance. As for the servo mechanism, I'm afraid it's not nearly as responsive as it should be. I'm at a loss to explain why. The Mammoth heart is in pristine condition and should be installed correctly. Perhaps its inner workings are simply too different to operate harmoniously with the armor's other mechanisms. Whereas Magitech cores serve only to conduct impulses, Mammoth hearts enable automata to possess the information collected by their sensors as feelings. Maybe she doesn't feel like part of the team. In which case, we should all do our best to make her feel welcome. Are you serious? This is a video game of all time. Daft as it felt, I gave it my best. I've welcomed myself to a bloody standstill. What were you expecting it to do anyway? Bob us a courtesy? Or a curtsy? No doubt you're wondering why the servo mechanism is so important as to warrant this silliness. Without it, the pilot would be required to control the armor's every movement manually. That would be an onerous task at the best of times and wholly impractical during battle. Using a Mammoth heart in place of the worn Magitech core seemed a promising solution. Alas, the device does not appear to be compatible with Garlean technology. Wedge, are there no other ways we might demonstrate our appreciation to our friend here? I'm at my wit's end, Chief. She just doesn't seem convinced. We could try a little dance, perhaps, or cheer our heads off. Imperials, they've come for the armor! Dang it, they have us cornered. There's the Reaper. Taken by the traitor Garland. And is that the Icon Slayer? Oh, bollocks. Call for reinforcements. The hells you will. We've located the stolen Reaper, requesting immediate assistance. Respond. Respond. It's no use, sir. There's some sort of interference. Curse you, Garland. No matter. If we can't reclaim it, destroy it. Bloody hells. Petra, protect the armor at all costs. This is the goofiest thing I've ever seen. We're gonna defend the armor and then it's gonna like us enough to help us. This is an actual anime. The little armor that could. How dare you attack my armor? My new best friend. Chief, look, she moved. Ah, now she deigns to grace us with her presence. It took us a good while, but we're finally ready. It's time to infiltrate Castrum Sentry and rescue our comrades. There, the finishing touch. Why would you... I thought the point was to infiltrate. Why are we spray painting it? The servo mechanism is now fully functional, and all it took was a simple fight to the death. Remind me not to install a Mammoth Heart aboard the Enterprise, would you? Much as I love her, I would rather not be required to profess it before boarding. But enough of that. Let us see to our final preparations. Thanks to Biggs and Wedge, the Reaper is as good as new. We're as prepared as we're like to get. Let's finish good vibrations now before we do this. How do I get here easily? Looks like I can go there from here. I think this is right. This is Lower Lanasia. Not sure which one of these that is. Huh. I mean, one of these goes there, but... Which one? Oh, Candlekeep Quay.